This episode of Ghoulish is brought to you by the shadow behind you that's not actually a shadow, but is, in fact, a ninja in disguise. Holy shit! Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Ghoulish. I am Max Booth, a host, and today on the program I am talking to Brian Asman about ninja. Not ninjas, but ninja, because ninja is how you say more than one ninja. Ninjas isn't even a fucking rule, and if you use it, you will go into prison, or at the very least, you will be fined by somebody. I don't know who, but somebody's gonna fine you. They're gonna find you so they can fine you. Get it? Got it? Good. This is a podcast where I talk to people with a microphone, and they listen with headphones sometimes, and they talk to me with also a microphone or some type of listening device. And, you know, it's a podcast. You've listened to podcasts. On this podcast, I'm talking to Brian Asman. He wrote a book. It's called Nunchuck City. It's great. It's funny. I find it extremely entertaining. And I think if you like funny books, you will like Nunchuck City by Brian Asman. And now this is the conversation I had with Brian about ninja. So, enjoy it. Enjoy it while it lasts, buddy. Take a good look at this podcast. I guess you have to take a good listen to it because you can't look at a podcast. So, yeah, have a good listen with this episode of Ghoulish with me, Max Booth, a host, and Brian Asman, a guest. The only time I've used a sledgehammer, I don't know if this is going to be interesting, but it's making me laugh thinking about it now, is we had this big fucking couch that we didn't want anymore and no one would take it, and then we tried to throw it away, but the trash people refused to take it into the big truck. So we were like, what the
trash people? That's kind of rude.
You know, the garbage people.
They're fucking human beings, Max, you son of a bitch.
They smell like trash, though. So
that they do.
So we were like, what do we do with this couch? And I was like, I know, let's break it up into tiny pieces and sneak it into the trash bags. So we had it in my front yard, this giant couch, and I just went and bought this sledgehammer. Like, one side was a sledgehammer, and the other side was like an axe. And I was like, and like for an afternoon, it took me so long. I just beat the shit out of this couch until we could fit it into many trash bags.
Oh my God. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I appreciate your commitment to it, for sure.
I mean, there was a certain point where I stopped and thought, this is a bad idea, but I've already spent so long doing this. Like, what if someone's watching me from, like, a neighbor's house and they see me give up? So I just kept doing it, and it was just a bad time.
Oh, my God. Like, I can just imagine your neighbor comes out and you're, like, just going to town, like, wailing away with the sledgehammer, and they're just like, do I call the police? Like, is this, like, a falling down situation? Like, what is going on?
Yeah,
man, dude.
Thinking about it now, it must have looked insane to see this guy just beating the shit out of the couch all day long.
Oh my God. So weirdly enough, by the way, I also have a story about getting rid of a couch in kind of an unorthodox manner. So one time in high school, my friends were like, hey, we have this couch we want to get rid of. And so we threw it in the back of a pickup truck. And I thought we were going to go just like dump it somewhere, like possibly probably illegally, but like that dude, that was gonna be the end of it, right? No. So they fucking drive it in like this cul-de-sac, right? It's like this regular suburban cul-de-sac with like 6 houses or something like that. And like, no one's on about. It's like 11 o'clock at night in suburbia. And they just dump it in the middle of the cul-de-sac, and like, so it's just like just right there, right? Not like dumping it like in the woods or like an alley or something. It's like in the middle of this fucking cul-de-sac. And then my friend pulls out a gas can,
Oh no.
douses it in gas, and lights it on fire in the middle of a cul-de-sac.
What time of day was this? Was this like in the middle of the night?
Yeah, this was like 11 o'clock at night or something, 11:30 maybe. So it was people who had kind of gone to bed at that point, but it wasn't like and I don't know what the statute of limitations is on this. Like, luckily, like it was just in the like literally in the middle of the asphalt, so like it wasn't close to anything else. Like nobody's house caught fire or anything, thank God. But yeah, it was one of those things where you're hanging out with your friends and all of a sudden like shit escalates like and there's like no sign that it's going to escalate. All of a sudden, like you're like, this is happening.
Yeah, that happened once with me and some friends as a kid. We were messing around in the city park, and there's a porta potty, and we'll just like taking all the TP out like a bunch of assholes. And then one of my friends was like, "Check this out!" And he pulled out a lighter and lit the TP on fire inside the porta potty, and then the whole thing caught on fire, and we ran. It just blew, like, not blew, it didn't blow up, but it melted to nothing.
Oh my God. That must have smelled so terrible too. Like,
Yeah,
just like
the plastic and the shit combined. Oh my God, it was. We didn't stick around. We left.
yeah. I can imagine, but man, I feel like that's a scene that needs to be in a book, I'm not sure why that would happen, but I feel like it needs to happen.
I'll try my best. Have you seen the show called Malcolm in the Middle?
Yes. Yes, I have.
So that's all this couch talk is reminding me of that episode where Hal and Dewey are disposing of a couch, and they have it on top of the vehicles while driving. And then when they get to the place to dump it, it's gone. They fell out as they were driving, and then a fucking train has an accident in town and spills all this toxic shit because some asshole left a couch on top of the train tracks, and the whole town has to like quarantine in the city gym or something. So that's what it reminded me of. That I've talked about Malcolm in the Middle like 5 times today. I don't know what's going on. I keep finding reasons to bring it up. It's
well, typical Thursday.
Okay. So the other day you posted something about a child trying to beat you up. What was up with that?
Oh my God. That was funny as fuck. So like, I live near the beach in San Diego, and the area where I live has like a bunch of like bars and shit. It's kind of known for being like kind of party central a little bit. But so anyway, I'm just like walking my dog back from the beach, and we're like walking down the alley, like behind this bar, and I see these 3 like children, like literal children. Like if they're actually like out of high school, I would have been surprised. And like there's like 2 of them that seem fine, and the third one is just completely fucked up, stumbling all over the place and like ranting and screaming at the other 2. And like as I walk by, he just like looks at me and my dog and just starts talking shit. Like, yeah, fucking walk around me, motherfucker. I'll beat your fucking ass. Blah, 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 blah. Like, and I'm just like, and he's like maybe 95 pounds soaking wet. And I'm just like, I wanted to stop and ask his friends and be like, hey, is there any chance he's 18 yet? Because like I'm not gonna beat up a 17-year-old, but like if he's 18, like all bets are off, right?
Hey man, age is just a number.
Age is just a number.
So when you tweeted about that, I thought you meant like kids who hadn't even like hit puberty yet, which was funny to me. So you're talking about actual teens.
Yeah, I was talking about actual teens. Yeah, but it would have been a lot funnier if it was like a kindergartner or something like that, like fucking on his skateboard and like chasing me with it, trying to like smash me in the knees or something.
That would have been great. Yeah. Teens, however, terrified me. I would have been quite frightened if that had happened to me.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, I think I outweighed all three of them put together, so I wasn't really worried about it. But
Have you been in many fights?
a handful over the years. I try to. I'm really more of a lover than a fighter, as they say. But yeah, I've gotten a couple scuffles. Usually, not too much. Mostly just shoving and a couple smackaroos, as they call them in the fight world.
So the topic of this episode is ninja.
Yes.
And what usually happens in like these movies and also books is like someone will be attacked on the street and they will have to defend themselves. Like, has that happened to you? And have you defended yourself like with violence?
Yes, actually, I've been randomly attacked a fucking number of
I
times.
believe it.
I don't know why my girlfriend always jokes about this. She's like, I don't know what vibes you're putting out, but like crazy people love to accost me for some reason. So the absolute craziest time ever was this is about 4 years ago. I was over at my friend's house, and he lives in like this like suburban neighborhood, just like a regular normal place. We're at his house. It's me, him, and like our two buddies, and we're hanging out, like just playing music, drinking whiskey. It's like a Thursday night at like 8 o'clock, right? Literally just the four of us. And we're not even that loud, we're just chilling. So anyway, I'm walking from like the room where they have all the musical equipment set up. I'm walking to the kitchen to grab another whiskey. And as I'm walking through, I see the front door is wide open. And there's a gentleman just standing there. And he's like, I don't know, like maybe about my age. He's got like a beard, black hoodie, looks like kind of like just a normal guy. He's just standing in the doorway with the doorway wide open. And I'm like, hello? And he's like, your fucking door's open. And I'm like, I can see that. And he's like, what's going on? Band practice? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, well, your band fucking sucks. And I'm like, like, okay, like you know what? Hey, everyone's entitled to opinion, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I don't actually disagree with you. We're not professional musicians at all. We're a bunch of dipshits who like to play fucking Misfits covers with an upright bass. Like, we're not great. So anyway, I'm like, so who are you? Are you a neighbor or something? Are you a neighbor? And he like, cause I'm just confused. And he's like, don't you fucking worry about who I am. And like,
so just to interrupt you, so Phil, I am 100% on this guy's side. Continue.
Yeah. No, I don't blame you. I suck. But yeah. So anyway, at this point, I'm very worried about who this guy is, despite the fact he's told me not to worry. So I yell for my friend who actually lives there to come out, right? And so Eric comes out and he sees this guy. And he's like, "Oh, Kevin, how's it going, man?" So this guy's name is Kevin. So we can call him Kevin from now on, I guess. I don't care about protecting his identity because he's a piece of shit. So anyway, like Eric's like, hey, and Kevin starts yelling at Eric. And then like Eric's just like, okay, well, I'm sorry, whatever. And like he's getting more and more animated. All of a sudden he just like looks at me and he's like, and this fucking cocksucker. And I'm like, excuse me, motherfucker. And at that point, this guy Kevin shoves Eric out of the way and charges me, right? And so he runs into the house, crosses the threshold, charging me, right? And so we're on a hardwood floor and I'm in socks, right? And so I like turn and the guy like just like slams into me and I go flying because I'm socks on a hardwood floor. And I grab the guy by the collar and pull him to the ground, right? And he's on top of me. He's trying to hit me. And I get him in like a spider guard, basically, which I've never used in real life. And I didn't really think was a thing that would be all that useful, but it was. And then Eric comes behind and grabs Kevin in a headlock and drags him off. Right. And I like get up and I'm like, what the fuck I'm more confused than anything else. I'm like, this guy just ran into my friend's house and started fighting me. And then like this guy, he's like trying to like come at me again. And like my other friends are calling the police at this point. And Eric just shoves him out of the house and he runs outside and starts a fight with 5 random people because there's a white car that's been following him apparently, and he's screaming his lungs that their white car has been following him. So he's just completely losing it at this point. And then the cops show up and separate him, and I end up going home, and then the guy apparently left an apology note on my friend's door the next day saying that he was going through some things, which, you know,
Yeah,
so
I mean, he seems like a good guy. I just love the fact, like, imagining there might be like a secret agency that just like tries to stop Misfits cover bands.
yeah. Oh, yeah. We got a hot one. Send in Agent 47.
I got something to say. No, you fucking don't.
No, you fucking don't. I want your skull.
So, you said this was one of many. What else comes to mind when you talk about this subject?
Oh man, dude, I've had a bunch of hobos like try to attack me on the street for like no fucking reason. Like I had one that was like stalking me. Like it's just crazy, man. It's just shit's always happening basically. I
What do
don't
you
know what
think?
it is.
What do you think it is about you that's causing this? It has
Well,
to be you.
I think it is, yeah. And here's the theory that I have. So like my dog is like half shepherd, half husky, right? And other like full-blooded huskies, when they pass him on the street, they hate him. They want to attack him and like rip his throat out like all the time. I don't like, and I think it's because they recognize he's like a half husky and they don't like that he's like half of them. So I feel like something similar is going on because I look kind of homeless. And I think like, the tweakers in my neighborhood, like kind of like are like, you look kind of like us, but I can tell you're not one of us. And then they want to kill me.
That makes a lot of sense. I mean, I can tell you've thought about this a lot, and I think that's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of crazy, but hey, it's just life on the streets, man. What can I say?
It's a living. Have you do you know like self defense? Have you taken any classes?
Yeah. I used to train in jujitsu. And I've done some boxing as well, but jujitsu was always my main thing. I was never very good at like striking. But yeah, going to the ground, that's my thing.
What can you tell me about do you have any tips?
Yeah, number one, don't be me. Don't walk around dressed like a hobo like I do. I don't know. um, but yeah, if you get into a fight, honestly, go for the eyes. Go for the throat.
The
Like,
eyes. My
yeah, go for
God.
the eyes, man. Yeah, just go for any soft and squishy bits that people don't want to lose. Um, but try to avoid fighting if at all possible. But you're very good at talking.
Me?
But
Thank you. I'll
yeah,
just invite them on my podcast if they begin getting hostile. Uh,
yeah.
when I was a kid, like I'm trying to think now about fights, and it's so funny to me because what I think about is like one time I was in a like gym class, right, and I got into it with some kid, and I distinctely remember both of us telling the other person, "Yeah, well, my mom said I could fight anybody if they hit me first," and the other kid being like, "Well, my mom said I could fight anybody if they hit me first." So I think that's a common thing with like young kids who don't actually want to fight, but like, I would if you would hit me.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I want the credit for being a badass without having to actually do anything about it. So I mean, what you do in that situation, you're just like, okay, well, let's flip a coin, and then whoever loses the coin flip has to hit the other one first.
Yeah, and then at that point, you just kind of become friends. I think.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I've been attacked a few times, like as a grown boy. Like the hotel I used to work at, I was attacked a few times, but like I'm not someone who fights. Like one time, this guy like hopped over the desk trying to come at me, and I kind of just stepped to the side and helped, and he just like hit his head in the wall, and
Oh
then he
God.
got up and like tried to dive at me again, but then he missed, and then he got up and left. So like that's not me really self defending anything. I
No,
just
no, it
stepped
is. It
away.
is. That's you using his own strength against him. Like, yeah, like you whoop that guy's ass, Max.
Oh my god, I could be a
Yeah,
ninja.
you beat the shit out of him
I
because you let him beat himself.
Wow, that's like my brother's age old stop hitting yourself tactic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, why you hitting yourself? Why you hitting yourself? Yeah, exactly.
Do you have siblings?
Yeah, I have a younger brother. He's like 5 years younger.
Did you like beat up on him and stuff growing up?
Oh, of course. Yeah, we were always just scuffling all the time. But he was 5 years younger, so he was a lot smaller than me, so it wasn't really fair. So I'm kind of a piece of shit
Yeah, I know.
for that, you know. But well, lots of reasons. That's just one.
Well, I have two. No, I have three brothers actually, but like
Three
one.
brothers.
Yeah, and all of them are quite older than I am. So like one's 10 years old, one is 11, and one is like fucking. I don't know how old he is, 17, 18. He's like, he didn't grow up with me, so I have a difficult time like thinking like, well, how old is this man?
Right.
But the other two, like I grew up with, and like they would beat the shit out of me constantly, and it's a way bigger age gap than the five that you grew up with. So I guess,
Yeah.
I mean, I already knew they were pieces of shit, so this isn't like news to me. But yeah, I think like growing up with siblings, you really do like you gain this sense of self defense that maybe only children do not get.
Yeah, I totally think so. Like, you know, unless you're like an only child who has like a next door neighbor or something like that, and you are like contentious or something. But yeah, I think, yeah, when you have siblings, that's when you know,
Yeah.
you
Now,
can't fight anyone like you can
wait,
fight your siblings.
let's
for
go
sure.
back to this example you just gave me. So, unless you have like a neighbor that you would just fight growing up, like, do you mean someone who's also the same age, or just like a grown man who lives next to you that you would just have to fight sometimes? Where else is coming from?
Yes, exactly. Like a retiree, like, you know, preferably on oxygen. Kind of like, you ever seen that movie Hot Rod where he's trying to fight his
Yes.
stepfather with the heart condition?
Yeah.
So kind of like that, basically. Like, you know, an old neighbor with a heart condition that you can just kind of practice on.
I've always wanted to fight an old man, but I'm pretty sure I would lose just because, again, I don't know how to fight that well.
Well, dude, I can train you.
Train me. Let's do it.
Yeah, I can train you, dude. So we'll get you into fighting shape so that you can take out any old man that you see.
I mean, I have a list, so I mean, it's going to take a while to get them all defeated.
Yeah.
Okay,
But
cool.
hey, you know what they say, you know, about trees, right? The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, and the second best time is right now.
What the fuck did you just say to me?
Yeah, it's an old proverb. Yeah.
What is this ninja shit you just said?
Yeah, just remember, the tree in this case is the old man whose ass you should have beat like 20 years ago when you were 3. So, but
Make like a tree and a go
get the
away.
fuck
Go
out.
away.
Make like a tree and eat my ass, as they say somewhere.
You know, speaking of puns, in preparation for this podcast about ninja, I promise, folks, this is a podcast about ninja. Not ninjas, by the way, ninja, as we discovered, both you and I, because ninjas is just bullshit. It's always ninja.
Exactly. Yeah, it's plural and singular at the same time. What a
Yeah.
word.
I think
What a world.
I think if I recall correctly, that's because the Japanese language they don't have like that S.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. You did way more research on this than I did. So
Yeah. Okay, well, I guess I'm being a bad host because we should probably talk about why we are doing this episode. You have a new book coming out called Nunchuck City. When is it coming out? April?
yeah, it's coming out April 20th.
Oh my God, that's the day of smoking drugs.
Yep, exactly. So smoke some drugs and read my fucking book.
Wow. So I did some editing work on this book, so that's I've read it already before anyone else has, and I love the book. It's extremely entertaining. I've read a few things of yours now. I think this is the best thing I've read by you. It's so fucking funny. There's some great action scenes in it, and it's just you could tell while reading this you love ninja movies so much, and I want you to just talk about like where did this inspiration come from?
Oh man, yeah. Well, first of all, thank you so much. I'm really, really stoked to hear that because this was something that I did put a lot of myself into. It's a very silly. It's kind of like silly and ridiculous in parts, but there's like a lot of love here too. And you know, pretty much everything I write is very heavily inspired by things I love. And in this case, you know, it's weird. It's actually this book is actually mostly inspired by video games. So when I was a kid, I grew up playing like side-scrolling beat 'em up video games like Double Dragon and Bad Dudes, and those were kind of like the big influences for this book because these were video games where like essentially like Japanese game developers were like aping like American culture of the 80s, like fucking like commando and action movies. And those action movies were aping, kung fu movies from the 70s. And so Japanese game developers were like copying our action movie tropes into these games. And like, it's just kind of, it creates this weird, bizarre thing that like has never existed ever. And it's just a unique aesthetic. And so I kind of wanted to like, take that and make a book out of it, basically, kind of like a tribute to the video games I loved as a kid.
Yeah,
But
I think you definitely got that. In preparation for this podcast, we have watched a few movies. Well, you told me to watch a few movies, and the one I did watch was Double Dragon, which I did not know was a movie, did not know it existed until you told me to watch it. And then while watching it, I kind of Googled around and I saw it was a video game as well. So I have been sheltered in life, and I don't know about these things evidently.
yeah, I mean, hey, I'm glad you got some Double D in your life finally because it's quite the life changing experience. But yeah, the 1994 Double Dragon movie. I mean, first of all, like, what can you say about this movie other than wow? My God, this is what cinema should be. This is why the fuck I go to the movies. Like these two brothers who look absolutely nothing alike, who don't really know martial arts, are like shoving trash into their. Yeah.
Isn't one of them white and one of them Japanese? Are they supposed to be half brothers? I missed some of the background of this movie. What was going on with this?
Well, I choose to believe that they're just full brothers, and you're a racist for assuming just because they look a little bit different that they can't be full-blooded brothers. Uh,
That's true as well. If you ask anybody about me, they go, "Yeah, that guy is a racist."
yeah, yep, that's Max Booth. But yeah, so I mean, I think they are half brothers. The one actor who plays Johnny Lee is he's part Japanese, part Hawaiian, and like part like I think Italian, and like yeah, he's like 8 different things or something like that. But he's the one who actually knows some martial arts. Scott Wolf doesn't know any martial arts whatsoever.
Yeah, no, you
And
could tell.
yeah, but I mean, his line delivery is just exquisite. So you can kind of forgive that. And Alyssa Milano, with the short blonde hair, like looking good.
Yeah, the cast in this movie is outrageous. I couldn't believe every time I would see someone's face pop up. Like, you have Andy Dick in this, you have Vanna White, you have the dude from the Hills Have Eyes. What's his name?
Yeah, Michael Berryman.
Yeah, he shows up at
Yeah.
one point. The fucking Patrick Wilson, is that his name? The fucking T2 liquid robot.
Oh, Robert Patrick.
Okay,
Yeah.
yes, that's it. Yeah, he's in it. He looking like the least threatening villain of all time with like, what does he have? Fucking frosted tips.
Yeah, Kogashuku. Yeah, and so that's actually like his villain in Double Dragon actually heavily inspired the villain in Nunchuck City. Both as far as his look and the fact that like Robert Patrick's adopted this name, which means like nothing in Japanese, as far as I can tell. And so that becomes kind of a running gag with the with the villain in my book as well. He's kind of like this Japanophile who doesn't know anything about it, and it's it's kind of goofy and hilarious.
I love the villain in that book, and I love the gag you have with the name. I won't spoil what the end result is, but it's really, really satisfying to read about.
Yeah. Thank you.
There's also like this. Now, I watched this movie, but I also was like kind of zoning out at the same time. So plot wise, I'm a little confused on. But there's like this giant mutated fighting monster in it.
A Bobo.
Yeah, I think he's also inspired by. I think you also took some inspiration from that dude into the book, right?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, kind of like one of the characters in the book, Slag Cromwell, is a little bit inspired by a Bobo and a little bit by like, other kind of fighting games like, Street Fighter and E Honda and just kind of like a bunch of different characters kind of all together.
I love after the movie finished. I was just walking around my house. I'm the only one home right now, just like mimicking how he was talking in it. It was like, I don't know, guys. How about you? What's up, chicken butt? It was really psychotic, probably to anyone who might have been eavesdropping. But also, this is the same house that I beat a couch up with a sledgehammer, so I'm sure anyone is used to it now.
I mean, those walls have seen some shit, man.
Some actual shit too.
Yeah. Oh God.
I live
Oh boy.
life dangerously. I don't know what any of that means. What when like going back to like ninja, not ninjas, ninja. Like, can you recall like when you first began like getting interested in the subject?
Yeah, definitely. It was probably the early to mid '80s, and there were a couple things that really got me into ninjas. The first was GI Joe. GI Joe had this whole kind of ninja contingent. With obviously Snake Eyes being like the most popular of them, the heroic Snake Eyes, but also Storm Shadow, his kind of his counterpart that was a Cobra agent, and they were both part of the Arashikage clan. There was a lot of kind of brotherly tension between them, and Storm Shadow eventually became good, and then at one point GI Joe decided to really go all in on ninjas, and they had this entire like ninja force. And so I had all those action figures, and it was amazing. And so between GI Joe and then Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I also got really into as a kid as well. And then when I got older, I kind of went back and like got to read all like the more adult things that inspired GI, like our love affair with ninja during the 1980s and 1990s, like Frank Miller's Daredevil run, for example. Where that got real big. That was one of the big things that inspired Ninja Turtles, actually.
What, the Frank Miller stuff?
Yeah. So
Really?
Ninja Turtles was basically Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird were reading Frank Miller's Daredevil run, and they were reading Chris Claremont's X-Men, and decided to kind of put them together into one property.
Oh fuck!
Essentially,
I read a long time ago. You just brought this memory back that the fucking radioactive fucking ooze that blinds what's his fucking face? I don't know, Matt, is that his name?
Matt Murdock.
Yeah,
Daredevil.
the shit that blinds him, it's the same stuff that it falls into the sewer and makes these fucking Ninja Turtles. That's the same fucking ooze.
Yeah, that's where the ooze came from with the turtles. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, it just excited me to remember something I read one time. My memory isn't great usually.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, speaking of weird trivia, this is something I just figured out the other day when I was really high and watching Ninja Turtles. Is that okay? So there are four turtles. There are four words in their name: Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and each one of those words represents a different turtle's personality perfectly. It's essentially what each one of them considers themselves the most to be. Like teenage, that represents Michelangelo. He's the fun-loving one. He's kind of a big kid.
Okay.
Mutant, it represents Raphael. So he's the loner. He feels like he doesn't belong in the world. He feels like an outcast, right?
Yeah.
And then Ninja, that's Leonardo. He's all business. He's very seriously into the warrior lifestyle. And then Turtles represents Donatello because he's like a pedantic asshole, basically. And he's like, well, technically, we're mostly turtles.
Okay. You had me until that last one. I'm not sure if I'm buying this.
Listen to this though. In the 2014 Michael Bay Ninja Turtles movie, when they're introducing themselves, and they literally have Michelangelo goes, "We're teenagers." Raphael goes, "We're mutants." Leonardo goes, "We're ninjas," and Donatello goes, "And we're also turtles."
Okay, so you just took this from a Michael Bay movie.
Yeah.
Did you see that? Did you see that video that came out of that movie Michael Bay is filming right now? It was like a behind the scenes, like doing a shoot in like this the scene was like an ambulance is being shot at, and then it flips and explodes, and all these different vehicles and traffic, they just fucking explode and go flying across the street. Did you see that?
No, no, that sounds awesome though.
Yeah, but like we get to see it as like someone filming on the phone behind the actual camera, and it looked so incredibly dangerous. Like you see like crew just running for their lives, not trying not to get hit by just like cop cars flying at them.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you definitely should look it up at some point. It's pretty beautiful. Kind of beautiful.
Yeah.
No ninjas that I can tell though.
It's kind of like a ninja ambulance if it's doing a bunch of flips, right?
That's true. Uh, like last year, I did a bunch of fucking research into ninja stuff because it looked like I was going to be hired to like write a ninja movie, and that's been put on hold for possibly the rest of time. Who knows? But like, what do you know about like the history of ninja? All like my memory at this point is still pretty shitty, but I do recall like back in the day, like ninjas were mostly assassins.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think this is probably the part of the reply part of the podcast where any reply guys who are listening are gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna pick apart like literally everything that they're saying right now. But yeah, so essentially in ancient Japan, they had, the samurai and the Koda Bushido, and they had these, these warlords who were hiring samurai to go fight their battles for them. And the ninjas were kind of like they were more like the common people. And so they were able to do things that the samurai could not because they didn't have the same code to follow. So they were more like, they weren't into honorably defeating the enemy. They were into defeating the enemy by any means necessary. And so the Shinobi Shizuku that we know today was actually from like no theater in like the 1800s. And what ninjas actually wore were just like usually like farming clothes, or like they would dress up as servants or just anything to blend in essentially so they could get to their target and take them out with either poison or, a lot of the things that we think of as ninja weapons are actually farming tools. So nunchucks, for example, that was a farming tool. So that was used to like drive stakes into the ground.
Oh wow, yeah, that makes sense. I never thought about it that way. But yeah, I have you ever used nunchucks before?
Yeah, so I actually own some nunchucks. So I should probably clarify that I own foam nunchucks because I live in California, and for some stupid ass reason, you're not allowed to actually buy nunchucks here. Like, so I'm really pissed off. I've already written my congressman a shitload of times about that. But
Think
yeah,
about
so
all
I had
the times you've been attacked. What if they had nunchucks? Be glad they were not allowed. You would be dead.
What if I had nunchucks? I could have defended myself.
Okay.
But yeah, so I actually bought some, like in preparation to write this book, I actually bought some foam nunchucks and I was practicing with them. And I watched a bunch of nunchuck videos on technique to figure out how to use them essentially. And I still stand by my what I say in the book is that nunchucks are the deadliest weapon ever created for both the user and the person they're fighting.
Yeah. I've had only one incident with nunchucks, and I was quite young. I would say maybe 7 or 8. And I was with my brother at his friend's house, and his friend was really much into ninja stuff. Like he had like fucking samurai swords and ninja swords and nunchucks, but not the foam ones.
Ooh, real ones.
And I was fucking around with them in like his front yard. Why am I always doing things in front yards? I don't know. But anyway, and I was just like flipping them around like a dumb kid. And my brother was like, "Hey, don't fucking hit yourself with those." And I immediately hit myself A in the face and then B in the balls. And then and then I fell down and cried for half a day.
Oh God. I mean, really, that's your brother's fault, right?
Yeah.
Because your brother said, "Don't hit yourself," and that jinxed you.
But also, like, don't let me play with him. I'm a child. Stop smoking weed behind the house and come pay attention to me.
Yeah, come teach your little brother how to properly use nunchucks so he doesn't hurt himself.
If
Jesus.
Phil sees the same brother who would like do backyard wrestling matches with me, and again, he's 10 years older than I am. Like, he would have me lay down in the grass, and he would climb on top of the shed and just jump and elbow drop me. I don't,
Holy fuck.
I don't think he was really good guardian. Like, he should not have been
Oh my
babysitting
God.
me. We would have Phil's blood matches as well. Like, whoever would
Oh
bleed
God.
Phil's would win. And at the time, it seemed like a lot of fun and really cool. But thinking about it now, it's like, I was a 10-year-old child and he was in his 20s.
Oh my God. That's, oh my God. Dude, that's funny as fuck, but it does remind me that like every 3 or 4 years, you read a story about like, some teenager who watches like wrestling on TV and decides to like, do the moves on their like 2-year-old sibling and then kills them.
Yeah, that was the same thing with us, except I lived. Because, I mean, we just watched wrestling a lot, and then we would do the moves. Like, we came up with a belt, and we had, like, theme songs we would play for each other, like, on the radio. Like, I had some fucking song by Kuln. I think it was, like, the Twist one. It was like, nah, 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 nah. That would be my theme song as I would walk out. But yeah, but somehow, luckily, he didn't break my neck doing like a fucking stone cold stennel.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's yeah. Yeah, some of those moves, man, like
I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, dude. You're you're lucky that you came through that okay.
It's something. Did you do a lot of like wrestling as a kid? I guess that's a different topic. Ninjas don't wrestle, do they?
I mean, ninjas will use whatever technique they need to win. So if they were to lose their weapons or things like that, then yeah, they would have to go to hands. And wrestling's obviously a part of your empty hand toolkit, for sure.
What do you think about like Scorpion and Sub Zero? I guess those fellas will ninja.
What do I think about them? I think they're
Yeah.
fucking awesome.
Right?
Like, yeah, dude, that was my Mortal Kombat was my jam when I was a kid.
Same.
Like
You still play?
Which one was your favorite?
Uh,
Scorpion or Sub-Zero?
I had to go with Scorpion, man. He was the coolest. He would fucking shoot a fucking blade out of his wrist and then stab you with it. It was great.
Get over here. Yeah, exactly, dude. Exactly, man. Scorpion was my favorite too, by far. Yeah, dude. Mortal Kombat was my jam.
You excited about that new movie? It's also a new movie, right? Did I make that up?
Yeah, there is a new movie. I think it's coming out next month or something like that.
What the
Yeah,
fuck?
I'm totally gonna check that out. I haven't watched the trailer, but I heard it's very good.
I haven't watched it either, but yeah, I mean, I not that long ago bought a few more games after not playing them in a long time, and it was like, oh yeah, this game is always going to be awesome. Like I don't know how someone could not like these games.
Hell yeah, yeah, they're super fun. Yeah, it's a great time. You know what I really miss right now is I'm sure they have them like in Texas, but those the arcade bars, where you can like go play old arcade games like at a bar.
I don't know about that. I
Oh,
Is
really?
that a thing?
Oh yeah, it's totally a thing. There are a couple out here,
Cool.
where they're regular bars, but then they have like a room with all these video game cabinets in it, and you can go. The really cool one near me has them all set to free, which is awesome. But they have like they have all the classics. They have Mortal Kombat. They have the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fighting game. They have like the House of the Dead with the guns where you're blowing up zombies and shit. Hell yeah.
So I guess from my perspective, why I don't know about these is I've never like gone out and done things like that because I began working at a hotel when I was 19 on the night shift, and I did that for 8 fucking years. And when I quit, there was COVID, so I haven't like had time to like, oh, it's nighttime, and I don't have a job. Why don't I go socialize at a place where you drink alcohol and play games? I just have never had that opportunity.
Aw. Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that. Way, tell you what, man. next summer when I'm out in Austin for KillerCon again, when that's going on again, man, I will find. I'm sure they have a video game bar in Austin. I will find one and I will take you there and I will pay for your evening.
Wow. What if I'm
Well,
rich by then?
well, then you'll pay for your evening and mine.
Okay.
That would only be fair.
I'll let you
Yeah,
know.
yeah. If you sell this ninja movie that you were that's probably not going to happen. Then
My wife and I, we have this inside joke in the house of this kill tool that doesn't exist called Shitty Ninja, and it spawned because one time we were at Home Depot and we were buying a bunch of plants and shit, and I was walking out into the parking lot holding this giant plant, and I said how I felt like a shitty ninja trying to like hide, like how you see in video games sometimes with the guy in
yeah,
a trash can. And then
yeah.
like we just developed it like as a theme song almost, like shitty ninja, shitty ninja. And so now it's just this thing we sing sometimes, this shitty ninja theme song. And like I also think it should be a show, okay? Because would make me laugh so much if at the beginning of each episode it said like "Shitty Ninja is brought to you in front of a live audience."
Dude, we should develop this as a web series. That would be awesome.
I'm in. Yeah, that sounds like it
Yeah.
would be so funny. Just like this ninja who fucking sucks at his job. And even like you could even bring the studio like laugh track into it, like maybe, well, maybe it's even filmed like The Office. So it's like a documentary, mocky series, and the ninja keeps getting busted on his stealth because there's a camera crew following him. I don't know.
Oh my god.
He's just a shitty ninja, man, and it will never not be funny to us in this household. So I'm glad I finally had a chance to bring it up to somebody else because so you could laugh and now the fucking audience of Ghoulish knows about Shitty Ninja.
Yeah, dude. I really think this idea has a lot of potential. We should like have a separate conversation about this.
Okay, I'm game.
This could be a really funny project.
This everything talked about in this podcast is copyrighted. So if I see any shitty ninjas about, I am going to fight you with foam nunchucks.
Yeah, exactly. And by the way, I should bring it up. But speaking of theme songs that are ninja related, Nunchuck City actually has a theme song. I haven't shared the video yet, but yeah, I wrote a theme song for Nunchuck City.
Can we play it now?
Yeah, I can hum a couple bars or something like
I mean,
that.
do you
Yeah.
have it recorded?
That more just a recording of me singing while walking down the street. So
Can we play this
yeah.
recording at the end of this podcast?
Yeah, I can totally record it and send it to you, or I can just give it to you right now. But
I will.
yeah,
I will in the editing of the episode. I will just sync that thing to end the episode with.
excellent. All right, sounds good. Let's do it.
But, okay, Bill. Before we end, how can folks find you and how can folks buy Nunchuck City?
All right, so I am on Twitter at the Brian Asman, also on Instagram at the Brian Asman. I'm on Facebook if you look for me on Facebook. My website is brianasmanbooks.com. And if you want to check out Nunchuck City, and I really hope you do because it's funny as fuck, I think. You can either buy signed copies on my website, brianasmanbooks.com, or you can get on Amazon, or you can just call your local bookstore and be like, hey, I heard about this fucking ninja book and I really want to buy it. Can you order like 1,000 copies and I'll buy one of them? And they'll probably do that.
I think that's how it works. Yeah, you just say buy this many, but I only want one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And they'll be like, okay, cool. There's like demand for it. And yeah,
It's kind of like when you want to buy fries, but you don't want all the fries. So it's like, hey, if I get fries, will you guys also have some?
you guys also get fries? Yeah, except in this case, the fries are nunchucks.
That would be a delicious food. And now, without further ado, the Nunchuck City theme song.
Take me down to the Nunchuck City where the nunchucks chuck and my feet get kicky. Take me home. Take me down to the Nunchuck City where the nunchucks chuck and my feet get kicky. Take me home.
And that was Brian Asman talking about Ninja to promote his new book, Nunchuck City. Go buy it at the places you buy books. And also promote us on Patreon at And also promote us on Patreon at Publishing And also promote us on Patreon at patreon.com/PMM Publishing. Buy books that we publish at Perpetual Publishing. Rate and review us on iTunes at iTunes. I don't know, follow us on social media at Ghoulish Pod. My own Twitter account is Give Me Your Teeth. Follow both of them. You will get similar content because I run both accounts.
Live spooky, die spooky.